Hello, I am Minecraft Phenom 08, and this is episode 52 of my series in which I will try to collect a billion iron ingots. In today's episode, I will once again be working in my giant new building out in the middle of nowhere, and I will hopefully start installing some more nuclear power that will increase my iron ore production, and that'll be upstairs. But for right now, we need to finish the setup down here in our scrap factory. I have just got all of my nuclear reactors running, and everything seems to be going pretty smoothly. These things do take a long time to power up because, like I said last episode, I only have just a couple of spare EU per tick, as each one of these guys uses 59 or 69, and each nuclear reactor only produces 140 EU per tick. That means 138 EU per tick is being used. So these buffers are filling up very slowly. They are filling, however, so that's good news. Now, we did allow one of these nukes to run overnight, this one back here, so it has some depleted fuel, and we have that right here. And we're going to need to use that to set up our filter, and that guy is over here. So let's go ahead and, as we see here, it is not active right now, and that's because we have a redstone block over here. So what we can do is we can pull out this filter and say, okay, we are whitelisting, and we are whitelisting for this right here. And then we can go ahead and throw that back in. Now that we have this filter properly set, we can get rid of this redstone block here. And theoretically, we should see it pull out the depleted fuel rods that we have in our one reactor. So let's just wait a little bit and see if that will be the case. Okay, let's just run over there because okay, that's not good. I'm wondering if we can't pull stuff out of the bottom. And that would be kind of detrimental to the setup. Okay, it does not appear to be working. I might have to go back to the drawing boards. I think if I use item duct, I can get it to work. Why are you doing there? You know what? Let's go ahead and get some fuel rods, and let's see if we can insert. And we need 7. Yeah, it doesn't appear to be working, so I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing boards here. That's not cool. I believe when I set up my other building, things were kind of finicky with these transfer pipes, but the impulse item ducts that I had before seemed to work a little bit better, as in they were more willing to extract it. Okay, that's weird, because we got this to work, we just didn't get the extraction to work. I'm not quite sure why that is. So let's see if we didn't make a mistake here. Let's try that. I don't think that should change anything, but maybe it will. Because if the transfer node works, I don't know why the retrieval node would not work as well. Obviously, the transfer node did work. So I'm just kind of confused as to why that did not work. Okay, that's... this is actually kind of frustrating. I really just kind of assumed this would work. It's not. Okay, let's try something else. Let's try just replacing it, if we can get back. And let's wrench this so it doesn't go that way. You know what, let's just, let's not bother with the stack upgrade right now. I think it has one more row to go. I think this is the last row it's on right now. And I don't think it grabbed anything. Okay, that's kind of irksome. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and tear out all this stupid transfer pipe. And I think I'm going to try some impulse item duct. So first of all, let's just rip this. Clearly that's not working. I'm gonna try one more thing before I completely give up on and rip this system out. Let's put all this back. Shoot. Do I not have another stack upgrade? Must not. Or I must have dropped it. No, it's down there. I see it. So, what I want to do with this last attempt is I want to go ahead and connect it to my AE system, and maybe then it'll work. Okay, so that's going. Let's grab some covered cable, and let's grab the dense variety, as well as some of this. So what we're going to do, first we're going to go outside. See exactly where we can connect up. So over 3. I think that would be the best place here. That is not the best place, but that is. And let's go ahead and grab this variety rather than the non-colored variety. And then let's run back into here and connect this up real fast. Maybe then it'll work, because it still hasn't worked yet. And we are going to actually want to connect a few things up, but not quite this second. And I think I'm gonna do it like this. Every time. That's fine. Actually, I should have went this way. I'm going to. And we can grab some of this. Okay. I don't know why this would make a difference, but maybe it does. Who knows? And if at any point that goes away, then we know it has worked. The next thing I want to do is I want to connect both these inventories up to my system as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, since I'm just kind of waiting on paint to dry at this point. Okay, so I have this set up a little bit differently over here. And oh my goodness. I think I want to move that over. So let's grab one more impulse item duct. And let's throw the scrap in here where it belongs. And as you can see, we've already made plenty of scrap boxes, like quite a bit. So that's pretty nice. And then we'll need some storage buses, but for right now, we're not going to worry about that. And this isn't the greatest plumb job, but I wanted to avoid being in the same block space as that redstone wire, because I'm not sure if I would interfere with it or not. Okay, it doesn't appear that this system is working, so I'm going to have to replace it, which is not ideal, but that's okay. Hopefully I can actually replace it with a system that will work. And I have everything I need to do so. Well, not with me, but let's just set these to both positive 1000. And then my system should be able to access these inventories. And that's a bunch of scrap boxes we're making right now, so that's pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and dig out this whole system right here of these transfer pipes and replace it with item ducts. I think right here I'm going to use basically the same exact wheedle pattern across the room, and I'm going to use a retriever and a servo right here rather than having like servos on all my reactors. So I'm going to be back after I have all of that done. And I'm back. I have replaced all of the transfer pipes down below with impulse item ducts, and you know what? That still is not working. So I've done a little bit of play testing to see if I could get anything that works, and it seems if I put the item ducts on top, it will work. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to dig out those impulse item ducts that I just put down below. I'm going to have to dig all those up. I'm going to have to put my redstone down below, and I'm going to have to put the extraction and input item ducts on top where I have the redstone wire. And we can make it look kind of neat. It's kind of look like a jumble up here, but you know what? Oh well, that's the way it'll be. So I'm going to go ahead and do all that off camera, and hopefully this works. And hopefully I'll be back with a successful, nice working system here in just a couple minutes. And finally, I have everything back, and it looks like everything's working. I did have to set all these servos to ignored mode because we no longer had the redstone on top here that was activating them by happy chance. I do have the redstone underneath now, and everything seems to be working pretty well. So what I need to do is I need to cover up all these holes that I made, and then I need to get ready for my project upstairs, which is very similar to what I have in my other building as far as nuclear power production, but it will be a little bit different in a few ways. So I'm going to go ahead and set part of that up on camera. And this lever right here is for the nuclear reactors down here. That's where I have the redstone all set up too. So if I were to turn that off, the reactors would turn off. But we want that on because we want all of the sweet, sweet scrap boxes that we are making. And it looks like, it actually looks like our other system is pulling scrap boxes out of this because it's all tied up to my applied energistic system, which is completely fine. That just means it should have a bunch of scrap boxes in my other location that aren't being used. So I'm going to go ahead and get a bunch of stuff ready for this right here, and I will be back in a little bit. And here we are upstairs, and let's start setting up our reactors that we're going to put up here. And in this building, I've decided to go literally from wall to wall with my reactors, kind of like I did downstairs. So let's start setting these guys up. Along the back wall, we are going to have power. Right here, we are going to have our reactors, and I'm just doing a little sample area of how this is going to be plotted out. And then right here, we are going to have our item ducts. And then on the other side here, we should have, and the pattern will just be mirrored across the room. Something like this. Now, I want to test something out because I haven't played around with these redstone relays very much, but my initial testing seems to be that this just might work here. Rather than having some sloppy redstone on top of these reactors, I might be able to use these impulse item ducts here. But for that, I'm going to need some testing. And so let's grab some heat vents. These will do nicely. Nope, let's use these. These have already been used in a reactor. Let's throw these guys into a reactor. And then let's do this. We are going to set all of these guys up to outputs. Yes, output. And then what I need to make sure is that the item ducts still work. So we need an inventory of some sort. Let's grab some modular storage because it's my favorite. And nope. Oh shoot. Okay, let's set this guy up something like that. And then we can have impulse item ducts. Okay, that's weird. Is there a reason why I can't put that there? Okay, my inventory screwed up. Hang on, I'm going to disconnect and reconnect real fast. And let's see if that fixes the problem. Let's try this again. Come on. Okay, here's our impulse item ducts. Let's try this again. Grab our modular storage. We're actually going to need a servo and a retriever. Because I want to test both of them because both of them need to work here. First, let's set this to on. The only thing in these systems are these heat vents right here. The rest of them are completely empty. So theoretically, we should start to get a... Actually, let's set this to round robin first. And then set this to on. Okay, this... That's exactly what I wanted to see. I want to see these heat vents jumping around, which is spectacular. Which means I can use this system, I believe. Now, the next thing I need to test is I need to actually make sure that the redstone component's going to work. So what I need to do is... Actually, I need to... The best thing I think here would be to actually go ahead and set up these 8 reactors real fast, how I'm going to actually have them set up. So for that, I need to change my garb. And I need to grab some fuel rods. So 4 goes in each. I have 8 reactors, so I need half a stack of these guys. And these reactors are going to be set up the exact same as I have my other reactors, or the other primary reactors I have in my other iron producing building. So pretty simple setup. Need to grab some heat vents after this. And then let's grab our heat vents. And just like the other, okay, 8, yeah, I think I need a full stack. I think that's exactly how many I need. But just like the other reactors, I have to preheat these things to get the most out of my MUX fuel rods. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the other heat vents out, and we're going to try to turn this thing on. I really hope this works, because this will make the system look quite a bit cleaner, and that'll make me happy. Because even though I'm not spectacular making things look great, I'm not spectacular at that type of thing, but when I can make something look pretty good, it makes me happy. And this should look good and should be functional, which would be great. Okay, so let's grab one more item duct here. And when I say one more, apparently I meant 3 more. Let's throw this on. This will be an input. Now we have to be careful here, because we don't want to turn these things into bombs. So let's go. It looks like we're working. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. This is awesome. I'm pretty excited about this. Unfortunately, these things aren't hooked up into anything, so all this power I'm generating right now is completely wasted. But that's okay. Okay, how hot did we get them? Actually, should have gone one more tick, it looks like. In a perfect world, I'd get these to 67%. But I'm actually kind of unconcerned about having them be perfect. Okay, so just so we don't accidentally blow up the building when we preheat the other reactors, we need to go ahead and finish off the setup here. So cool. Basically, I'm going to do this all across the room here, and let's go ahead and, nope, not do that. Let's go ahead and, actually, I should have just left those. I'm going to go ahead and set up the rest of the reactors off camera. I mean, I'm literally doing the same thing over and over again now. And after I get all the reactors set up, I will be back to set up the mass fabricator system. So I will be back in a little bit. And there's actually one little part of this system that I kind of forgot to set up. And I can't actually do the complete setup right now, but I need to set up my insertion and extraction of fuel rods. So I went to my main base, and I have a depleted dual fuel rod, or a depleted MUX dual fuel rod here, so that I can set up my filter. And I actually need 2 of these guys. So let me grab another interface here. Okay. Oh, it's because I did that. There we go. And one of these will be used for extraction and the other for insertion. So let's go ahead and set these guys up. This one can be, back here, can be our extraction, and we need to do round robin. And we need to set up to extract dual MUX fuel rods, and we need to whitelist that. And we can go ahead and activate that at any time, because that should not affect anything else. And this one we need to have set as not on or anything, actually, because we don't want to turn it on yet. But what we can do is, actually, I don't want to check this in there. Nah, let's go ahead. Doesn't matter. Let's grab some fuel rods here, and I'm in my... And we can go ahead and... I actually didn't need to grab any except one. What I want to do here is something like so. So it should have a bunch of fuel rods in it at all times. And cool. And of course we need to not activate this for quite a while. And we need to... Actually, you know what? I completely need to not have this be here for right now. Because when I go and flip my redstone on, because I'll be using redstone along this line to preheat these reactors, I would unintentionally turn that thing on. And then I would accidentally spill a bunch of extra fuel rods into my reactors, and then I'd have an explosion. And I don't want that. So for right now, we need to not actually have that on at all. And the retriever, it doesn't matter though. It will only pull out depleted fuel rods, so that's all cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up this setup. It's gonna take quite a while, and then I will be back to finish the setup with the mass fabricator system. Actually, I'm gonna use two systems, but I will be back in a bit. And here we are. We have all of our nuclear reactors set up. They are ready to preheat. But before I preheat them, I am going to lay down my mass fabricator setup. And let's go ahead and do that right now. So for each of these two setups, we need a mass fabricator, a scanner, a pattern storage, and a replicator. We also need some upgrades. We need some transformer upgrades here. And let's get a couple overclocker upgrades. I might need more than just two, but for right now, we'll stick with two. In here, let's throw in 3, and actually, it's... And this one doesn't use power at all. Let's use 3, and then 1 overclocker in the replicator. And... there we go. That should do nicely. The next thing we need to do is we need to go down to our basement here and set up our fluid duct system. And the fluid will need to be carried from the mass fabricator over to the replicator. And that's a pretty simple procedure. And let's get our servos. And these need to be always on. They don't need to be, but I prefer to have them always on. And then let's cover these things up. Oh, whoops. And there we are. Now we should hook them up, and we have 6 lines of nuclear reactors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect 3 lines up to each one, and pattern storage. Okay, I want to do everything equivalent or kind of symmetrically. So this one line here will be connected to this, and then these 2 lines right here will also be connected. And okay, so we have 3 hooked up to this mass fab setup, and then the other 3 lines can be hooked up to this one. And let's see, all the way back here. And bada bing, bada boom. 1, 2, 3 hooked up to that one. And then 1, 2, 3 hooked up to this setup. Now let's grab some iron ore real quick. We need 2 of them. And let's pop 1 in each scanner, and I don't know why I got rid of my glass fiber cable, because I need 6 more of it here. And that's because we need to hook up all the machines here. And okay, I think we are ready to preheat the reactors. We have all of them set up in this fashion, except for the 8 I already have completely set up. So let's go ahead and turn these guys on. And we're aiming for 65% here, because there are probably a couple of reactors that are hotter than this reactor right here. At least in my experience, they don't, for whatever reason, they don't all get the redstone signal at the same time. So we need to aim for about 65%. That way, if a few of them are over, they're only at 67%, because I think 69% they start to hurt, as in damage players that are walking past. So that should be good. Let's see here. 65, 67. 67 is what we actually would like to see on all of them, but obviously, like I said, the preheating is not perfect. Okay, so we have our power here, and wow, we already managed to make some a decent amount of UU matter, which is kind of nice. And we haven't even set up the scrap yet. So let's go ahead and set up, we need 2 exporters and 2 importers here. I should have just said bus. 2 import buses. Let's grab a bunch of these guys and then some covered cable. And we need to hook up our importing and exporting. Blah, 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 blah. There we go. And if you haven't noticed, I have rerouted some of this crap down here to make it just look just a little bit better. So we need our exporter here. We need scrap with acceleration cards, and then our other exporter over here with scrap and acceleration cards. And then this one needs to be an importer and some acceleration cards. I don't know if I need those, but we're putting them in anyways. Nope, 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 nope. And then the last thing we need a couple pulling upgrades and a couple pushing upgrades, if that's what they're called. I don't remember what they're called. Upgrade. Ejector upgrade stuff. And I think we can get rid of the rest of this stuff. And these will not... Okay. The mass fabs need to pull from... Actually, they're from different sides. From the west side. Okay, this will be over here. And then this one will need to be from the east side. Let's go ahead and set up one of these guys. And then the other guy. Okay, this needs to eject out the east side. And then this one, the west side. Yes. Okay, that should all be set up right. And the last step here is we just need to throw in some heat vents. And I'm not sure if they're all done crafting yet. They are not, but they're close. I only need like 1,800 something of them, so I have 1,700. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to install heat vents in the rest of the area, and then we can finish this setup. So I will be back in just a little bit. And finally, we can complete the setup now that we have all of these reactors all going. Actually, we can go ahead and flip this switch. Should turn all of them on. We should be seeing these guys flying, absolutely flying. And the UU matter should be stacking up. Our scans are almost done. But the next thing we need to do is we need to roll on over here and find this guy down here. We need to install this servo. So let's go ahead and turn him on the ignored state. And that should all be nice and dandy. And this guy down here should be in the ignore state, and he will pull out the fuel rods. He will insert the fuel rods. This one will insert the fuel rods, and this setup is mostly complete. Now the last thing I need to do is hit save, and we need to click over here and say start making iron. Actually, I'm going to do another overclocker, it looks like, because our UU matter is still stacking up. So I'm going to need 2 more overclockers. This is a nice problem to have, to be honest. And let's do the same thing over here. Save the pattern. Say make iron. So by my count, we should practically have just doubled our iron ore production. So that makes me extremely happy. I'm going to have to keep an eye on my scrap boxes to see if we're getting net positive or net negative. It looks like we're still strong net positive, just looking at it right now. So that's really good to know, because we are burning quite a few scrap boxes. If you just look at this. Look at that. She is flying. Okay. Well, in today's episode, I managed to set up this nuclear reactor setup, and I managed to fix the complete cluster mess that I had down here in this setup. So we have a lot more scrap production, and we have a lot more iron ore production. So that makes me extremely happy. As of right now, we have 14,800,000 iron ingots, and we still have a nice backlog of 758,000 iron ore. It looks like we're actually building back on that backlog, so we're gonna have to do something about that again. But that's okay. That makes me pretty happy. This is Minecraft Phenom 08, and I will see you next time.